Okay. You
What's
can't
up,
do it as
guys?
good as Alex.
I cannot. What's up, guys? Different face today. It's Jonathan in front of the camera.
He's normally one that's behind the
I
camera.
usually am behind the camera, making sure everything is running properly. But Alex is MIA today, so somebody had to.
He's
fill in
kind
the
of sick.
shoes.
He's
Yeah.
kind of sick.
So
We have his younger look-alike. If you watch
what they
these,
say.
Alex
Yeah.
is redheaded. So is Ginger over here, and he's this is Swaggy. This is Jonathan.
Jonathan, what's up, guys?
I'm Landon, obviously. What episode is this?
I think 27.
27.
I know.
Dude, we've got 27 out. We started these like what, October,
Checks out.
November,
out,
something like
yeah.
right there. So we've been kicking it ever since.
I know. That's like really crazy to think about.
It's been pretty crazy. It's extremely cold here in Ohio right now.
It's unbearable.
Yeah, this podcast come out Friday, so we might be over the cold, but
I hope
it's
so.
cars aren't starting, schools
No.
are closing for
Inclement weather.
schools are closing for all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And things of that nature because of, they can't
Can't
they
function.
can't
operate.
function.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
pretty
It's
brutal
cold.
right
There's
now.
a weather front coming through, but
I was about to say the same thing.
we have a big thing going on right now. Obviously, we're from Ohio.
Columbus.
Buckeyes.
The 614.
We are extremely excited. Our home team. It's been a rough couple years. It's been a
Yeah.
rough year
It has
in general. It's been a rough year in general. And this year, Ohio State, there was a guy that put a friend of mine on Facebook put a $10 bet on OSU
Mhm.
start of the season to win the championship,
Sure.
and turned out to be $1,100 in his pocket off a $10 bet.
Wow.
That's the
He cashed
likelihood.
that
It
last
was like
night. That's
1,100
crazy.
or something like that. It's crazy. But the Buckeyes win. So
Yeah.
OHIO.
Can I say?
Congrats to the Buckeyes, our home team.
Number
Hopefully we got
9.
some Buckeye fans out there.
Yeah.
It's been a good year. It's been a good couple days.
It has been.
Overall. So we're super excited about that. It was awesome to be able to watch the game last night. But this podcast isn't fully about
No. But to bank off what you said, Ohio
Buckeyes.
State just being better. I think that's what we're going to talk about today. Apple just being generally better than
the overall
everything else.
Yeah, the overall answer for Apple being better
Mhm.
than everything else. And I think we've talked briefly on that before, but it's going to be kind of, what's Jonathan's take on it? What's my
Sure,
take on it
sure.
today? Overall, why is Apple better? What is Apple better about? How things run with that? And what do you
Yeah.
think the overall consensus is? Now, my idea, and I've said it before, and a lot of people will agree with it,
Mhm.
as far as why is Apple better. And I think it's the integration with other Apple products. Now, the one thing that I believe, I think it was Mark Zuckerberg or something like that said is Apple's really bad, and obviously this is very known. Apple's not great at integrating with other devices,
Sure.
whether it's even Beats sometimes have issues, right? And
Mhm.
it's Apple owns Beats,
Yeah.
but there is an issue with Apple integrating and using other devices, whether it be the Meta glasses or just a different technology. But when it comes to the Apple all around being able to integrate with itself, Apple is very good at that.
Mhm.
And it's top of the line. Android doesn't work with the Galaxy smartwatch or whatever it's
No.
called as good as the Apple Watch. And I think the integration when you have, Mac OS, iOS, iPad OS, Vision OS, the whole 9 yards, that working there, it's
Right.
practically seamless.
Operating systems for those devices.
Correct.
Software. Yeah.
So, I that's my big take, and I always run by that.
Mhm.
Anytime people ask me, I'll be I'll be at a family reunion or a birthday party. Somebody asks me, and you always have the Android users that will come up to us specifically and say, "Hey, like, what's going on? Like, hey, man, I got my Android, or I'll never in a lifetime switch to Apple." I got a friend of mine. He's an older guy. He's actually my fiance's cousin. His dad, so uncle, whatever that would come out to be. And he just switched from Android to Apple. So we got him there, but I always ask him, "Hey, how do you like this? How do you like the switch?" And he's like, "No, I don't like it." And I don't
Just
know if he's playing
stubborn.
hardball.
Yeah.
But if you've used Android your entire life and you switch, it's probably a little bit hard to be able to make that switch.
And I feel like that comes with anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
After a period of time, 30 days to create a habit. After you
For
have
sure.
that habit, then break that habit and switch that habit. It becomes very, very difficult to
Yeah.
do. So, but let me ask you, that's sort of my answer on things. What
Okay.
is your answer on what do you think Apple is, and you don't. The best part about this is our opinion. So
Right.
you don't have to have the best answer. You don't have to have a perfect answer. But what do you think your overall answer is, Jonathan, on why do you think Apple is top tier or better than its competitors? Not necessarily just Android, but its competitors overall.
But just anything. Yeah. Well, my family is Apple from the jump. When 2007,
Apple
when I was
since
actually
birth.
born. Yeah. So it's the only thing that I kind of know.
Okay.
So I don't know any better. I think when it comes to just the iPhone, for example, I think it blows Android out of the water. Like operating speed, the look, the just everything about it. I think Android doesn't compare at all. When it comes to like headphones, like AirPods, like does Android or Samsung have their version of that?
They have something, but I can also
I don't
say
think
that it's not as
I
good.
don't think it compares to anything that Apple has to offer when it comes to headphones. And I actually did not know that Apple owned Beats. You
Yeah,
just
so they bought it
informed
for like $1 zillion
That is crazy. I didn't know
several years ago.
Yeah.
But that's why they sell Beats in their store.
me.
But they bought Beats out, and now they have that. And it's really weird to see that as well, because Apple has, they have their whole line of headphones and speakers, and Apple has all that. And they also have they just bought out their competitor and continue to sell it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a great idea. The one thing that I don't care for as much as what Apple is their speakers. Apple
Sure.
still has not made a Bluetooth wireless speaker.
That just bumps. Yeah.
They don't even have one, period.
Right.
Right? So you got to think about all the speakers that Apple's made are corded,
Mhm.
right? And their HomePods are good.
HomePods are good.
I have 2 HomePods
I
on my
wish I
back
had one.
porch. The normal size HomePods. Then they have the minis. The minis are good for a normal office room. I know
Mhm.
Tony uses the one. We have a couple in the shop that we
Oh,
listen
yeah.
to music.
Yep.
The HomePods are good, but they're not great. And for the price that you pay, I will say this, and you can come at me in the comments, but I think that Sonos is a top of the line leading the game when it comes to speakers. And if you're always so used to Apple coming out and being, top of the line on the
Mhm.
iPhone, right? With the MacBook,
Yeah.
the leading in this category,
yeah.
industry, right? But then they come out with this HomePod, and initially you're like, okay, this is good. This is okay. I feel this. And then you come to the point where it's like, but it's not that good compared to the competitors. Now it looks cool. It's a little tiny, colorful, round
Speaker. It looks
speaker.
Like, yeah.
And you plug it in, and it's cool, and they are compatible, and they work all together.
Yeah.
And I guess the HomePod Mini is affordable. It's $99. But I can get a JBL, or I can get a Beats
Pill.
wireless
Beats
speaker,
pill.
right?
Yeah.
Pill. And it's wireless. It's waterproof. It doesn't need Wi-Fi. Now, it can't connect like the other ones would.
Yeah.
But even with Sonos, which like I say, I'm a Sonos fanboy, super expensive. Not super expensive, but a very
But it's worth it.
top of the line
You get what you pay
in-home
for.
experience.
Yeah.
So with those speakers, it allows you to, we have the Sonos pill, and it will allow you to control that along with all of your other
Mhm.
Sonos at the same time, and it's wireless. I'll take it to the beach. We take it on trips. We plug it in, we charge it, we throw it in the bag, we go.
Yeah.
And Apple they're not there. And with the audio quality that they sell, when it comes to the AirPod Max are great headphones.
Yeah.
Top of the line, over the head headphones.
Are you taking those or the Beats that like Dr. Dre Beats over the head? Which ones are you taking?
To be honest, I haven't had a pair of like the Beats Pro or the
Mhm.
Studio Beats or the $500 or $600
Yeah.
ones. I haven't seen those in a very long time. I know
haven't
they
either,
have them.
actually. Yeah.
I think I prefer the way that the AirPod Max look.
I probably
That's
would
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Beats. Is it Studio Beats?
I think so.
Because these are Beats Studio, the less inexpensive ones are the Studio Beats, like the $100 ones, but they are not the same quality or anything as far as
Sure.
that goes. But AirPod Max I think are great.
I think that too.
And I just don't know why they haven't created a
great
wireless speaker.
Right. I feel like the AirPod Max, for the people that do love that over the head,
Yeah.
I felt like that it might be the best that you can get. Like,
Right.
yeah, they're really expensive.
Yeah.
But you're also it's Apple. You get what you pay for. It is the best.
And dude, I think that And I think about that even today. That's kind of one of the reasons. Alex isn't here, so we're not wearing the headphones, and I wanted to see how we like that. But even with the headphones, I think I'm already liking this conversation a little bit more. I personally don't care for over the head stuff.
I don't really either. I like in-ear
Now
stuff.
Brooke doesn't mind it, but I think it's sort of a fashionable piece too. Like
I haven't
when
thought about
people
that.
use
Yeah.
AirPods, like to a point, it's a small flex.
Yeah.
I will say that. AirPod Max, that is. You have that.
Right. When you got AirPod Maxes, I'm like, okay, this guy's like,
It's
he knows what's up.
Right. It's a flex. So, but when it comes to the AirPod Pros, those are super nice. I'm surprised Apple hasn't created an around the ear AirPod, because a lot of people like how they have the Beats,
the Beats
right?
one, where they're
Had somebody call me today, a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey man, I like the Beats.
I know exactly what you're talking
The
about.
ones that wrap around your
I got
ear,
nothing.
right?"
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, I like these. They're going out. They're starting not to connect and stuff. And when I work out, it's just not feasible." So I'm like, okay, that makes total sense. But as far as the AirPods, they stay in your ear, and I'm like, yeah, I mean they stay in my ear, right?
Yeah.
And am I waving my head back and forth? Maybe not,
Sure.
maybe not. But if you're playing basketball with them in, they might fall out.
Yeah.
Now he was like, well, I like the Beats because they never fall out. So I'm just surprised Apple has not innovated to that point. And I saw a podcast or some guy talking about it the other day, and I think it might have been Mark Zuckerberg, because I was watching this thing where they were interviewing him, and he was like, Apple just hasn't made anything new since the iPhone. And if you think about it, I mean, they have the Apple Watch, but
Right. The little things have come along the line.
right, but there's not
the heavy
any
hitter. Yeah.
thing crazy new. He was like, it's been 10 years. It's been since Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah.
There hasn't been anything insanely new that Apple has created. Now they've added a lot of benefits to the devices they have, but even with the Vision Pro, I think we can all say that was a flop, right?
I would agree.
We've talked about that.
We have.
And that being that flop, what is Apple creating now? And we are Apple fanboys, obviously, right? We'll be in the diehard section of the Apple selection
1,000%.
But what are they? What do you think?
There's always room for improvement.
Okay, let me ask you this. So, what is something that you would like Apple to see, or no, rephrase? If there was something that Apple could create that you would want that they don't have, a full streamline of products, or something that what will that be?
I think we talked about it earlier, a speaker. I love the Beats pill. I don't have one, but I know people that do, and I think I need a speaker.
I need an Apple pill or an Apple
for various things.
I agree.
I think an Apple speaker I think they would kill it. Like, honestly, I think
they
have
would
technology to do
now,
it.
what do you think the reason why they haven't done that? What is that reason? Because Apple hasn't. Apple has not created a wireless. Everything else is wireless. Wireless charging, magnet charging, I guess you can say as well.
Yeah.
There is, Bluetooth all over the place. Anyway, connect from your headphones to your Mac, to your iMac, to your iPad. But they haven't created a device that can't have a cord on it.
Right. I mean, you would think it might be just a little bit of muscle memory. Like they've made the iPhone, they've made all these things, and they're scared to maybe take that one extra step and branch out even more.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
The one thing that I personally think that Apple should create, and I think it's going to be going a long way, is how Apple or Meta just came out with the Meta glasses with the cameras, right? Yeah. And that not just came out; it's been out for a while. But I will say that Apple has to compete with that because they are starting to get big. I bought a pair of them the other day. I went on Ray-Ban.com.
Okay,
they're coming in. They'll be in the next 2 weeks. The reason I got them is not necessarily so I can record my daily interaction at the Burger King.
Right.
Okay. But I
just
think
to play around with it. Yeah.
Play around with it. Maybe we'll do a podcast on it. Excuse me. Or we do a lot of videos, and I do a lot of this with my videos. But so we're going to start doing videos here soon where it's going to be packaging videos, our tech videos, give them to David for a repair.
I haven't even thought about that. That would look cool.
Super cool.
That
so,
and
really
a
cool. Real life experience is what you get from those goggles. Or not goggles, just glasses.
Glasses.
And honestly, if you know about them, you're going to be noticed, right? You'll notice the cameras in them if you're looking at somebody. But if you walk up to my aunt or uncle or somebody that is just not super into tech or doesn't know about them, you're not going to notice these cameras.
They're kind of no
Um,
idea.
and they're on both sides. The quality is there.
Yeah,
There's
they're not right on
speakers.
the lens, but like they're right.
You might see me
next to
4
it.
eyes. I used to be 4 eyes in high school.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. I
didn't
had
know
the
that.
tinted glasses.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Walked in.
All right. All right.
I walked in with shade. Walked out for shade. Right.
Mm.
Crazy. But the um, the crazy thing about that is that, you know, if going back to glasses, and I think that's just one small step. They put a camera on both sides, syncs to your phone. You can charge them. There's hours of use. I think it's going to be a great add to the content that we put out here because it's
Yeah.
going to give you some very much live action shots of what we do. And I think
Yeah.
for repairs, that's sick.
I think it would be really cool.
I think it's super cool.
Informative too, like actually what goes behind the scenes.
Yeah,
of what-
absolutely. I might wear them in this podcast.
Yeah.
And then do a short on the podcast as far as what it looks
well,
like.
yeah, with what we're seeing right now.
You know, stuff like that's really, really cool to do. And I think also me not having everybody's so used to this. And, you know, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
this was like, this is awesome, right? This is big.
I mean, and it still is.
It still is. And there's something
but we
wrong
have
with
to
that.
upgrade and we have to
Gotta
evolve.
innovate, gotta
Yeah.
step up. And I think, you know, I think that Meta specifically with this, you know, Ray-Ban connection, the
Yeah.
glasses, I think they're on a different level with it. I think it's going to go somewhere big. And I'm super, super excited to see what those glasses bring in when
Yeah.
they do come in. But they were like $400
Wow. I
for a
did
pair
not
of
know
cambered
that.
glasses. So hopefully the quality's there. I have a few buddies that had them and they sent me
Mm.
videos of them just doing stuff. And it was so intriguing to me because, you know, normally you are used to the phone stand
Yeah.
for the iPhone, right? And it sits there and you're doing the video and you're watching the video. And then all of a sudden I see a video and it's like you're doing this. Wherever you look, attach the thing to your head and the entire time.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty
It's
pumped
like
about
head
it.
tracked almost, literally.
It's
Actually,
very, yes,
Yeah.
it's head exactly.
Yeah.
Wherever this goes, you're going. So it's going to be very exciting to do that. I'm excited to do that. But you know, I still think Apple obviously has a huge edge. They are the, you know, to my knowledge or to my opinion, they are the industry leader for the mobile devices.
Yeah,
Now
most
I know,
definitely.
you know, Android sells more than iPhone. I think a lot of that's for price, but
Yeah.
The iPhone specifically is the best iPhone out there. I think the Mac is the best.
That's what I was going to tap into
Computer
next.
out there
We've
as well.
talked about iPhone. We've talked about headphones. When it comes to laptops, I before this year was a Chromebook kid. I didn't know any better.
But-
Going up through school.
He's also
yeah.
still in. He's a senior in high school. He
Yeah.
got a couple months left.
Right.
And that's his life. You know, high
Yeah.
school people have Chromebooks.
Yeah, so it's what our district and our school can afford. But when I came here, I was lended one, or lended a MacBook, and I will never go back.
Once you
ever.
go Mac, you never go back.
That is honestly, and there's so much truth in that. Like he's not even like it's not even funny. Just the smooth operating, how fast it is.
Entirely different system.
You can basically run everything you need to. There's very minimal things that you can't do on a MacBook. So,
I think it's very user friendly, and I think
Yeah.
Apple has made it. You know, 5 or 6 years ago, Big Sur wasn't the. It was a beautiful design, but it wasn't the most user friendly. Operating system. But now, I think Apple's becoming more. And I remember, you know, when the iPhone 8 and iPhone X came out,
Yeah.
there was people were like, you can't customize it. Now you can customize an iPhone. You can
Mhm.
pretty much change whatever you want.
just about.
And Mac is becoming the same way with being able to do certain things to the home screen, being able to adjust certain things, be able to make it a certain color
Are
font.
you, are
whole
you a
nine
big
yards.
customizer?
No, I'm not, dude.
Like when you open it up,
No.
are you
No,
taking
actually,
an hour?
I will show
figure
you
it out?
guys, and I'll show you this. This is my, if you can see my home screen here, I have a to-do list up top. This is about Asdal, and this is all apps. I don't even have them boxed.
I'm just a one pager. I got nothing.
See,
so there's my app
I am-
library.
1, 2,
There's
3,
that.
4, 5, 6,
That's
7,
crazy.
8, 9, 10.
I have to have my groups. I have to have them.
10 pages. I have a couple in there, like sort of maybe my banking information or like social
Sure.
media. And then I just start downloading apps for like
and just you're
free
just like,
fries
forget
or
about
something
it.
like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll download the app. So I got Temple Run on here.
Oh, dude, staple. Gotta have Temple Run.
Dude, absolutely.
Block
Absolutely.
Blast, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
to me.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I would agree. Customization within almost anything now. I mean, you can put emojis and names on AirPods, on AirPod cases. You can, with iPhones, different colors. Like it really is crazy, that aspect of what Apple has done with
Right.
their products.
And even with the animojis, right? You
I
got
haven't
the
thought about that
emojis,
either,
and it's
yeah.
very, very customizable. You can make an emoji. You can make yourself an emoji,
Right.
and not just with the bobbing head, right? Not
No,
the one.
literally an emoji.
You can make yourself an actual emoji, and you could be the one, squirting the bottle or
Doing whatever, yeah.
cooking the food. You are now an emoji. So
Yeah.
you are an emoji, which is pretty insane.
When we were watching the national championship, Apple had a commercial about their iOS 18 update and the AI emoji.
How did I miss this?
I don't know.
I was talking probably.
And it was showing literally anything you can think of can be made into an emoji now. You type it into the prompt, and we talked about it, the cowboy frog, and I texted it to my grandma, and she was like, "What is that?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you haven't updated." She has an 8 SE,
Well,
or like it's the size of an 8, but it's the iPhone SE. And she's like, "I want to do that." So I updated her phone, and we started just
going crazy.
So I think you really can get creative in a lot of different ways within Apple.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think it's pretty cool where they're headed in that direction. I think that's one way to innovate, and one way to look better, and one way to customize, devices. But I will say Apple hasn't done anything different with the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they came out with a mini back in 12, like the iPhone 12. There was a
iPhone 12
mini.
mini, yeah,
It lasted for 2 seasons and then went away.
It went away.
And maybe I've heard the rumors of the iPhone Air. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't necessarily think it's
what are your thoughts about that? What are your ideas?
I don't know what difference is going to be other than being extremely thin, and it's going to be an iPhone 16, a thin one.
Yeah.
Now I don't necessarily know if they're going to have like the 16, the 16 Plus, the 16 Air, the 16 Air Plus.
Right. Is this just a matter of preference? I mean, you have 15 or 16 Pro, Pro Max.
It might just be a more.
16.
I think Apple wants to continue having more affordable options, because your cheapest iPhone is going to be $799. We're creeping back towards 1,000, right?
Yeah.
So we were at 1,000, then we creeped back down and gave a couple options.
Yeah.
Creeping back up. So they're probably trying to see, and obviously that matters. How can they get their device to be affordable, but also look 2025, right? So I think that's something that they're struggling with. Struggling with. Their struggle is the daily. It is
Right.
what it is. Like it's just their job. So they're very good at it. Obviously, Apple's not going anywhere. I am somewhat nervous about competitors.
Right, because eventually somebody is going to match Apple.
Oh, they're going to match? How are they going to be? I don't know.
Right.
Apple's been doing this for a while. It's going to take somebody a long time to beat what Apple's been doing, but I know that specifically just because we're talking tech, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
What he's been able to do with Tesla in the past 10 years surpasses what most car companies have done in their entire lifetime, 60 years. Like, it's pretty insane. I am a Tesla fan. I think that their cars are very, very
this is a very
user-friendly.
This is a sensitive subject, not because of what you're about to say, but people being a fan of electronic cars.
Yeah, and I think you don't have to be a fan. I know there's a big bunch of people out there. I like gas, and I'm not someone. I have a truck. I have a diesel truck as well.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Very
I'm not
familiar.
doing this with for not the gas, right? It's just, and I'll be honest, I went from a Honda Accord to the Model 3. I had the lowest end Tesla you can get, and it simply was just, let me try it out. Let me give it a shot, and let's see if I like this thing. And I've been driving it now since end of October, so I got my 90-day review in almost, and it's a solid car, man. One negative I would say about it so far, it's 3 degrees. Tomorrow it's -3. Schools have been closed for all week here.
Yeah,
it's how cold it is. Like, buses won't start, cars won't start. The Tesla starts, but the battery, because of how cold it is, it takes so much to heat up the car.
Think about that.
I used 60% yesterday and drove like I left 100 miles. Now, I will also say that, I was put in a position where I could put a charger at my house. So that's extremely useful. I never have to worry about chargers.
Yes.
Haven't been to a gas station since October.
How's that going for you?
That
kind
feels
of weird?
great.
Driving by it,
Absolutely.
be like, dude, I haven't.
No, I've been one time, and that's for my truck.
Sure.
So, and obviously you got to go there. Now, I don't, and try to tie this back into Apple.
Yeah.
Right. But I think what Apple or Tesla's been able to do with the Tesla, and with how easy it is when you get inside that car. It's just so user friendly. From when you stop, it doesn't roll, right?
Yeah.
Or when you like you're just sitting at a light, it doesn't roll back, doesn't roll forward. Or when you undo your seatbelt, automatically goes into park. When you walk away from it, it automatically locks. You can put it in a dog mode. That should have been done 15 years ago.
What is that?
You can keep the car a certain temperature because there's a dog inside of it. And then there's this thing that comes on the screen and says, "Don't worry, it's 70 degrees in here. My owners are inside."
Wow.
It's very, very smart. Everything about the car is very useful. Very tech savvy. You can set it to every single morning.
Yeah.
The time I leave, my car's hot and ready, like a Little Caesar. Like it's insane.
Like a pizza, like a pie. Pizza. That's awesome.
It's ready to roll. It's extremely cool. It's a nice car. But I will say, back to Apple. Don't want to get too far on the tangent.
Right.
I know sometimes me and
just
Alex
for competitor example reasons.
Yeah, but for example reasons, what Elon Musk has mentioned, or I've heard rumors of a phone. I almost said iPhone there. Is it going to be a Tesla phone? Is it going to be a T phone? Right? Who knows? But I will say, with how user-friendly the Tesla is, from the day that I got it, you did everything on your phone. It's
you think
very...
the iPhone would be nothing less.
Man, it's...
Or, not the iPhone. Dang.
I think
Just
it's going
whatever,
to match up. The Tesla phone. Let's call it Tesla phone.
Sure. Tesla
I
phone.
think the Tesla phone will be, if that is a thing, and I mean... And I don't know if they want to get into the retail industry like that, because they're more of solar and spaceships, and I guess we're buying Mars or something, which I heard yesterday.
I don't know what's going on
but
right now.
I think that type of thing, if they got into the space, even the screen inside of a Tesla is very comparable to an iPad Pro when it comes to the touch ability and stuff like that.
I have been in one. I know
very,
exactly
very
what you're
good.
talking about.
Screen. Now, I don't think it would take them long to catch up, because of just the innovators there at Tesla. But I think it's a long way away, and I would like to see the operating system if that ever happened, because even I've converted to, normally I'm an Apple CarPlay, but in Tesla they don't have Apple. They have Apple Music.
I didn't want to ask my dumb question, but they
Tesla
does not have Apple CarPlay. Okay.
No Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto or whatever, but they have their own software, and their map is great. It's great. Very good.
Very good.
And I don't think it's very far away from what Apple is currently. And Tesla's only been in it for 10 years. Apple's, the iPhone came out in 2007, so we're 18 years deep now.
18 years deep.
And Tesla has been, first Tesla came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
that sounds right.
Maybe a little bit longer than that, but there's a time frame there, and they're engineering cars.
Yeah.
Right, not phones. So
Right.
I think it could be pretty cool to
Bigger
see
scale for sure.
what goes on. That's for sure. But overall, what do you think about that? What do you think about Tesla making an iPhone, or do you think there's any competitors that will come out that will ever? You obviously have the Galaxy. That's like the number one competitor to the iPhone. But do you think anything will come out in the next 5 years that is giving Apple a run for their money because of the device?
Yeah, well, for somebody that wants to do it, if they haven't started, they need to start now.
Yeah.
Because Apple's just going to continue to grow. I mean, it might be smaller steps than big, but I mean, every day somebody working at Apple is thinking of an idea that's going to make an improvement of what they already have.
Do you think somebody's out there is attempting to do it now?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how much longer until we find out.
And then what money?
Yeah.
And the whole you can only imagine.
And then the green bills come into play for sure. With all that being said, this has been a great
absolutely.
great pod.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Cue the
I
music.
appreciate.
We miss Alex.
Yeah, Alex will be back.
Alex will be back. Let's see.
There you go. We're new to this. Alex normally runs all this, so sorry, guys.
We are missing a piece of the core, but
absolutely,
we made it work. Happy to be on here today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is episode 27. That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Landon.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we will talk to you on the next one.
Peace.